Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an awesome case study, automating the hustle, ChatGPT versus manual workflows. We hear so much about hustle culture, right? The dream of being an entrepreneur. But what nobody tells you about is the hidden tax of, well, administrative friction. It's like a trap. So many founders get stuck doing the exact tedious jobs they created, just drowning in repetitive, low-value tasks instead of doing what they actually love. We all have those recurring chores that just completely drain our energy. Well, today, we're going to look at a real-world entrepreneur who completely flipped her weekly grind on its head. We'll see how AI absolutely isn't just for the massive tech giants. It's a vital, everyday tool for small businesses. 250. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is the staggering number of customized meals our subject, Angela, cooks every single week. And she's not just batch cooking for anyone. She is preparing these meals specifically for new moms. That means incredibly high standards for nutrition and care. When you stop and think about 250 specialized meals a week, it immediately establishes the massive physical scale of her operation. Imagine the sheer volume of ingredients, the endless chopping, the heat of the kitchen, the pure stamina you'd need to pull that off. She is literally running a high-volume, high-touch business completely single-handedly. Just keeping the food fresh takes an unbelievable amount of energy, let alone trying to find a spare minute to actually grow the business. Okay, let's dive into this and look at the absolute mountain of work it takes to get those 250 meals out the door. Because, she isn't just standing in a kitchen prepping ingredients. Angela is wearing an exhausting number of hats. She's the head chef, developing recipes. She's the procurement manager, meticulously buying all the groceries. She's the assembly line worker, packaging the orders. And she's even the delivery driver, making the drops. Oh, and in between all of that physical labor, she's texting customers and manually designing custom labels for every single meal. Honestly, just thinking about the constant context switching, jumping from cooking to graphic design to customer service, it's exhausting. You instantly feel for her, right? You see exactly why she is so overburdened. She's a one-woman powerhouse doing the work of an entire team, but her plate is just way too full. But despite all this incredible juggling, the whole operation just hits a concrete wall at one specific point, a 90-minute bottleneck. Right in the middle of cooking and delivering, Angela found herself spending an agonizing hour and a half every single week just manually designing and updating labels in Canva. It is the classic bottleneck. And man, think about the psychological toll of that. You finish a grueling day of intense physical labor, and your reward is sitting at a computer, copying, pasting, messing with fonts and text spacing for 90 minutes. It's a purely administrative chore, pulling her away from her actual core business. She said it herself. She just wants to build things. She wants to be in the kitchen making incredible food for these moms, not trapped behind a screen endlessly tweaking text boxes. Which brings us to a really compelling question. And honestly, this is the core focus of our explainer today. How do we turn a 90-minute task into a 6-minute task? It sounds kind of impossible, right? But this is exactly where we pivot from the problem to a highly practical solution. Enter Jason. Jason steps in with a super specific mission. He helps people get the absolute best out of ChatGPT by bridging the gap between high-level AI capabilities and everyday small business struggles. He took one look at Angela's overwhelming workload and immediately targeted this exact labeling chore. His goal was to see if accessible, off-the-shelf AI tools could step in, wipe out that administrative friction, and literally take this soul-crushing bottleneck completely off her plate. So the crucial point is how exactly Jason built this automation, and it is remarkably straightforward. First, he just opens ChatGPT in work mode. Second, he installs the Canva plugin right there in the interface. If you haven't used plugins, it's basically like handing ChatGPT a temporary set of keys to your Canva account so the two programs can seamlessly talk to each other. Third, he tags the link to Angela's existing Canva label design. And fourth, he tags the link to her customer spreadsheet. What I absolutely love about this is how it totally demystifies the integration process. There is literally no complex coding involved, no massive, expensive enterprise software. It's just a simple sequence of mechanical steps connecting the everyday tools she was already using. And right here is where the absolute magic happens, merging data with design. Because Jason linked those two sources together, ChatGPT can now reach directly into her existing Canva label designs. It reads the formatting, and then boom, it automatically updates all of those labels with the new names pulled straight from her tagged customer spreadsheet. But this requires a bit of a mindset shift. It's not just about speed, it's about completely eliminating human error. Because the AI is handling the repetitive copy-pasting in the background, Angela never has to worry about a typo again. She doesn't have to manually type a single customer's name or stress out that she misspelled a new mom's name during a late-night administrative sprint. The data just flows perfectly into the design. And this brilliantly illustrates the dramatic payoff. I mean, look at this massive contrast. We are talking about a towering 90-minute manual struggle getting completely eclipsed by a tiny 6-minute AI-powered victory. Just by setting up that simple plugin integration, a chore that used to take an hour and a half of pointing, clicking, and formatting now takes 6 minutes. 6. It's a massive efficiency gain. Let's do the math on that really quick. That is 84 minutes saved every single week. Over a year, that compounded time savings is nearly 75 hours. That is almost 2 full work weeks handed right back to Angela to spend doing what she actually loves, what she's truly best at, and what actually moves her business forward. Her reaction to this new workflow perfectly captures how awesome this is. She literally said, "Faster than me doing these energy balls." It's such a great, authentic response, isn't it? It adds this perfect touch of humanity to the explainer. But more importantly, it proves the practical, real-world speed of the tool acting in parallel to her physical work. She was literally standing in her kitchen, rolling energy balls by hand, and before she could even finish that one manual task, ChatGPT had completely finished all of her administrative labeling for the entire week. It's true parallel processing for a solopreneur. She summed it up perfectly when she just stepped back and said, "That was awesome." Now, I want to bring this directly back to you, the viewer, because this is why this whole story actually matters. The big lesson here is that AI solves everyday bottlenecks. This case study, it isn't just about a meal prep business, and it definitely isn't just about making labels. It's about spotting the administrative friction and the manual bottlenecks in your own daily life. We all have our own unique version of that 90-minute brain-draining task that kills our motivation. The takeaway is that you can use these incredibly accessible tools to solve those exact bottlenecks and essentially buy your time back. You just need to look closely at your workflow, find the recurring friction, and connect the dots. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Taking a page straight out of Jason's interaction with Angela, I want to leave you with this direct question. If you have a problem you want us to solve, what is it? Seriously, think deeply about your own workflows right now. What is the one tedious, repetitive task that's draining your energy this week? Is it manual data entry? Is it scheduling? Is it drafting endless emails? The tools to automate your hustle are literally already at your fingertips. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with your reclaimed time? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Go get your time back.